Alrighty, it's kind of dark. I'm going to try to work on this so we can get her done, I hope. So I'm going to pick up where I left off. And all I'm going to do is just start finishing up. I don't know where Mama Cat went. Come on, go through there. I know you can. I really know you can. There we go. I think I got 3 more rows to go. Yeah, I think it's about 3 more rows. But well, I think we could do it and get it done. Alrighty, we got a thing on this one. And I think what we're going to have to do is sew it down. And we're going to take this one. And we're going to go through the thing there. And pull this. There we go. Yes. I think we can do it this way. Because we're at a corner. It's really not going to really matter too much. We're going to tie it twice. Like I said, I've never done this before, but we're going to give it a try. I just most definitely don't want my baby grabbing a hold of it and chewing on it. Now, we got that done. Throw that away. Now we got this one we can start with on the other end.
In fact, I've been stuck in books non-stop for the past several days. I haven't been able to stop reading. I haven't even done anything other than that in the past few days. I'm sure that once you hear this kind of stuff, it might be the same for some of you guys. So let me read this. It says, Revelation 13:18. It says, "Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666."
This in. And according to it, I've got 3 here. Alright, let's see if I can't find... Well, it's not going to let go of it. Yeah, it's going to stay. Alright, we're going to take this one and we're going to go through it like that. Alright. Now we're going to take this one and go through it. Oh, come on. There we go. Alright, now I went through my hoop there, and then I went through the hoop that I just put on there. So that way it will make it look flatter. Alright. We want 2 of them. Now we got this big old lump that's right here. So I want to do something with that. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to pull this through and then pull this through it. No. I gotta go all the way across, because I still got this side to do. What do I want to do? Yeah, let's do that. Do a slip stitch. And then that way, we have it. Ooh, don't want to skip one. It's already bad enough. We don't. Oh, a slip stitch. Alright, now. We're starting to go down. I'm going to go one more slip stitch. Alright, that'll work. Now I'm going to find my stuff and add me some more.
Now, this verse says, here's wisdom, let him to understand, count the number of the beast. This is implying that somebody is going to have wisdom. Somebody's going to be able to count the number of this beast. Somebody's going to be able to do it. Now, there have been a lot of attempts, a lot of manipulating words, a lot of different stuff to get this number. Well, in this book, The Antichrist and the Cup of Tea, and as I've seen other people come to this calculation as well, because you can't not come to this calculation, there is an explanation here. And so I'm going to read from this book on page 57 from Antichrist and a Cup of Tea. And I'm going to show you this chart here that they made. So I'm going to read quite a bit of this to you because I think it's important that you guys understand how this system works, because there's a lot of different systems that people use. Some people use Roman numerals and all these things, but I think it's important that we use the calculation system that they would have used when the scriptures were written. I think that would be what they're talking about most likely, and it's a continuation of that calculation that still exists today. So the main form of calculating Hebrew numbers, Greek numbers, has been around for a long time, and it's still around. So we can use that, and we can definitively know that we're using the right calculation in order to find out what these are. So I'm going to read this. Unlike English, ancient Hebrew and Greek did not use Arabic or Roman numerals to represent numbers. Instead, the characters of respective alphabets were themselves used. The number historically applied to the Hebrew character set, which actually antedate the largely occult Kabbalah, are today called Kabbalic. With these numbers in mind, recall that the saints are told, here's wisdom, let him who understands calculate the number of the beast. Despite the arguments of some to the contrary, there is no compelling reason, biblically or otherwise, to believe that a correct identification of the Antichrist through a proper calculation of his name, as spoken of in Revelation 13:18, cannot precede the start of the tribulation period. In fact, the Prince Charles and Antichrist, then this has already been accomplished. So we're going to read here. This book was written when was it published? It was published in the 90s, I believe. Yeah. In the 98. It was by Prophecy House. So he came to this conclusion in 98 by looking at these numbers, as well as other people did. And it says, Prince Charles of Wales, the prince's common name and title. Now, this is his common name and title. This is his official title, if you look it up, is the same form, for example, as Messiah, Jesus of Nazareth. So he has his title, just like Jesus had a title. Prince Charles of Wales, Messiah, Jesus of Nazareth. And this is how kingships have been named commonly throughout hundreds and thousands of years. So Prince Charles of Wales, the prince's common name and title, is the same form example as Messiah of Nazareth. Unlike a manipulation or even contrived name or title, such as Pope Caesar of Rome, the prince's real-life title not only calculates to 666 using the Kabbalic numbers, but it does so in more than one language. This calculation may be performed in either English or Hebrew through a relatively simple procedure. First, respectively apply the 22 Kabbalic numbers, one for each character in the Hebrew alphabet, to the first 22 letters in the English alphabet. Next, because Hebrew has only 22 characters, assign the null value to the last four letters in the English, W, X, Y, and Z. Finally, obtain the sum of values corresponding to each letter in Prince Charles of Wales, or Modern Israel Hebrew, and it shows the Modern Israel Hebrew here. Now I'm going to show you guys what he came to in this here. So this is the calculation he came to here, and this is the same calculation you can get if you type it into the program. It doesn't matter. It's the same. You can do it right now. Go and type in go to like gematria.org and type it in, and you're going to come to the same exact conclusion he came to here in both the English and in the Hebrew, which to me is mind-blowing, because not too many people add up to 666, do they, David?
No.
What do you think about that?
And even less add up in both languages. It's hard to just dismiss it as coincidence.
It really is, man. And this right here, once I saw this was actually enough to get me to look further into it, right? Because if the name doesn't add up to 666, then what are we looking at here, right? If the name doesn't add up to that, what are we even looking at? Now, I'm going to have to get into this part next time we do the show. Now, this is this heraldry. I'm going to give you guys a quick synopsis of this. In the scriptures in Revelation, it talks about 10 crowns, 10 kings. It talks about 7 heads. It talks about a beast with the mouth of a lion, the body of a leopard, and the feet of the bear. Now, there is only one form of heraldry, folks. One form of heraldry. And it is done by a order of people that do this. This is a occult order of people that do this, and there's nobody else allowed to do it. Nobody else is allowed to have this heraldry right here. In fact, the queen didn't have this heraldry exactly. Neither did his father, neither has any other person up to this day been able to put this on their heraldry. Now, the idea of what heraldry is, in fact, your achievements. Now, people talk about the crest. The crest is in the middle, right? In the middle of this thing, you have the crest. In this, you have the garter belt, the order of the garter that I was talking about. You have in this bottom left-hand quadrant here, which this is actually, I had a chart that I'm going to show next time that sums it up into quadrants, tells what each quadrant represents. But just to give it a sum up of this lion, if you look up feet of bear in heraldry, that's the foot of a bear. That's not the foot of a lion. Lions only have three toes that are shown, and their feet are different. The body of lions are not slender like this. This is the body of a leopard according to heraldry, and this is right off the heraldry book and the heraldry website. This is right off of their order that it talks about this. And the lion face. So we have the face of a lion, the body of a leopard, the feet of a bear in heraldry right here. We have exactly, if you count every single crown in this picture, you have 10 crowns. Starting at the top, lion up here at the very top, you have a crown. Right below him, you have a crown. To the left, the lion has a crown. To the right, the horse has a crown. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 here right now. We go down in the middle of the crest, we have another crown. That's 5 crowns right there. Then we have another crown here by these 3 feathers. And these 3 feathers represent the dark prince, the first person who ever, or the black prince, the first person who ever got this was the black prince. This is not talking about color either. Then you have one here in the middle that's over this, which represents another order of knights. And then you have one, let's see, where are we at here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm sorry, did I say 10 crowns? I meant 7 to represent the 7 heads. So you have 7 crowns in here total. 1, 2 at the bottom, 1 in the middle over this, 2 being over the dark prince, 1 in the middle of this thing right here, 1 on the horse, 1 on the lion, 1 on the head in the middle, and 1 on the lion on the top. So that's 7 crowns representing the 7 heads. In the middle of the crest, you have lions. And guess how many lions there are? There are 10 of these lions that are in the middle of this crest. And these represent princes and kings over other territories.
This right here's got a loop, and we got a thing right there. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. Alright, I'm going to take this one, I'm going to pull it through. Tie my knot. Oh, we got one more after this one. Alright, I'm going to take this one and, oh, got to put my little knot in, my slit in there. Scissors. Alright. Pull it through. Go ahead and cut that one off. It don't have to really be tied because it's knotted in there. Alright, let's take this one through there. And then we're going to pull it down. Where is it? Oh, come on. Don't do me this way. I can't see it that good. There we go. Well, that didn't work too well. It split on me. Oh, come on, don't do that. Alright, I'm just gonna tie it on. And then that way we got something started. There. We'll tie it twice if we can. I'm just playing it by ear as I go. Alright, let's cut that off. Alright. Now we got that. Now I'm going to go through the same one and do it like that. And then go down here at the bottom and go through the hole. And make it. Where you at, Mama Cat, outside?
Book that I won't be getting into tonight, but it's very interesting. This is an old book that I got, and it's called There Are Still Kings, and it talks about the 10 royal families of Europe, which is who he wants to take control of. He wants to be the king of all of Europe, by the way, over the 10 families, which I believe could represent that. You also have NATO. You have a lot of different options here, right, that he's in charge of, which is NATO's one of them. But these 3 feathers here, super interesting. If you look at his coronation or you look at his speech, actually, each feather has 6 divisions in it, representing 666. Reading this heraldry from left to right, which is how it's supposed to be written, is the Dark Prince. It says, I serve, which is in the Dark Prince, the red dragon. And at the top of the red dragon, you have a horse, a unicorn that is chained to this red dragon, denoting that the red dragon at the bottom of the helm is the one who is constraining or controlling this unicorn. The chains link all the way up to the crown. Now, interestingly, this horse is a little different than most. It's actually got the pale color. Most of them are super white. If you look at different logos, they're super white in comparison. This one actually, maybe not in this picture, depending on what kind of your color is set at, but it's a pale horse. There's also the representation of the horn that rises up and plucks out 3 other horns. I believe this horn is represented on this unicorn because it talks about the horn having the eyes of a man, right? And this, if you look at the eyes of a horse, this is not the normal heraldry eyes of a horse. This horse has the shape of a human eye, and it also has the whites of its eyes showing, which a horse's eyes does not show the whites. And so it does have a human eye there as well. And then you have, so many other things we could get into. We are nearing the end of the show, and we will definitely get into some of these things. One more thing I wanted to show people real quick that I think is important to know about this, because the pervasive element of this network of people that is all over the world also includes our church, right? The church, not the church, maybe the real church, not the Israel of God, but the church in America. The mainstream church is represented through these TBN. This is Trinity Broadcasting Network. This is their logo. And I'm going to read a little bit about Trinity Broadcasting Network in this book, Antichrist and a Cup of Tea. And then I'm going to give you some chance to comment, and then we'll wrap it up, guys. I know that you don't want me to, and I don't want to, but I know that we have set our limit here, because after a certain amount of time, you don't want to hear me talk anymore. I don't even want to hear me talk anymore. So we're gonna do it while I'm still alive here. Okay, so here we go. So this is on page 225. This is about this whole chapter is actually about Britain's role in breaking down the barrier between the Catholic Church and the English Church, breaking down the Protestant barrier through TBN. And it says, their spokespeople include such men and women as Charles Colson, Paul and Jen Krauss, who head the Trinity Broadcasting Network. It says, although sincere in their desire and efforts to serve Christ, and that's up for debate, despite some significant deviations from sound doctrine, they have unwittingly allowed themselves, I don't know if I'd use the word unwittingly either, but anyways, they allowed themselves to be compromised through the direct association with Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. Charles Colson, for example, who, like so many professing Christians, confusedly calls the pagan and now deceased Mother Teresa, who accepted false beliefs as potentially leading to salvation. A Christian has stated on Christian radio that he received his Templeton Prize for progress in religion award money on behalf of Prison Fellowship from the hands of Prince Philip at Buckingham Palace. And it goes on to talk about a meeting with Krause and all of these different things. And you know, if you look at TBN, they also own a Catholic network, right? There's a lot going on here, guys, behind closed doors that we should know about. And I think it's important that we know, because when somebody has a vested interest in what's going on here, and let's say that all we're saying is right here, and I know some of you are skeptical, which you should be. You should look at anything and really see what is the possibilities. But if this is the real possibility, there's a vested interest in everything. This is why so much money is spent on infiltration over ministries, and I know that even in our ministry, we're not even a huge organized religion like Baptists or anything like that. We're not organized like that on purpose. But they've tried to infiltrate us, right? There's been an infiltration that has tried to happen to us several times. David can attest to this happening. This is all too common, and this happens not only in religions, but it happens in businesses all over the world. And so the vested interest, if the coming Antichrist is coming, and I just want to leave you guys with this warning, he's going to make himself look like a Messiah, and he already has been. First off, the church has taken on the pagan rituals of the faith, and they put those together with the Christian rituals, come up with things like Christmas, Easter, which are in fact celebrating the Antichrist. They will fit right in when the time comes. All of those things will fit perfectly into the worship of the beast. They've been doing the rituals for many, many years. They've associated the dates. So when somebody comes up that fits the mold, that's able to do miracles, able to raise from the dead, and that is also able to take control of the entire world and stop the war, Christians all over the world are going to serve this man, because they have already been serving him through many rituals that should have never been allowed in the church. At one time were illegal in our country. The Puritans made them illegal. They were not allowed, but they are now allowed again. People are literally being initiated unknowingly into the order of the beast. And this is my final warning on this tonight, and that's what I wanted to say. David, did you have anything that you'd like to add before we jump off of here?
Well, I'm just going to say very little. I could say so much. What you say here is so true. I remember way back in the day when TBN was first founded. It was founded by Jim Baker, and yes. Then Paul Crouch came on and became the head of it. And in the very, very early days, there was this nun. I can't recall her name. If you'd see her, almost everyone would recognize her. That become the one that really popularized EWTN. And Jim Baker would brag about the fact, and still does to this day, that he started EWTN, the Catholic Broadcasting, by popularizing this nun. That's insane.
It is.
But it's true. It's absolutely true.
All right. Do it like that is. Make it easier. All righty. We got one more roll to put on, and then we'll be done. Alright, let's see what we can do about finishing this rug. I'm on the last line, and then we'll be done with it. I've still got a, no I don't either. Yeah I do, right here. Right here's my hump, and I'm just going to slip stitch them. I'm down here at this end, and hopefully I remember to turn it when I get down over in here. Alright, so we have this loop right here. So we're going to start working on that loop.
And I noticed, and I never did before, on that the horse, it definitely has green shading to it.
It does.
I mean, there's definitely green shading to it. And the more you just step back and look, and we, in 2nd Esdras 11, that just keeps me going too, the 3 heads of the eagle. Mm-hmm. And this reminds me of the 3, it almost looks at the bottom left, their feathers just almost look like snake heads. And on the end of the horse and on the end of the line, you have the 3, and off the head there, the 2 branches with the 3. That symbolism also is pervasive.
Yes.
And it is just, I tell you, The Bible says to watch and pray. And
Yeah.
now's the time for us to be doing it. Now's the time to watch and pray, to keep your eyes open.
It really is, David, and I think that there couldn't be any better thing to do right now. I think that if this is true, if these things that I'm presenting tonight are in fact true, which I'm not saying, I'm not going to say this King Charles is the Antichrist. I'm not saying that because I don't know. I do not know until more things happen. It's hard for me to say, but what I will say is this: that'll intrigue you a little bit as well. There's some that say the year 30 AD is the death of Jesus. Some say it's 33 because there was an eclipse that happened both of those years that would align with his death. We are almost exactly 2,000 years in the future from that. We are almost exactly 2,000 years. If it happened in 2030 or it happened in year 30, in 2030 it will be 2,000 years. Now that date keeps popping up, 2030, the 2030 agenda.
Oh boy!
If in fact the Antichrist has been kinged, then 7 years from now, keep that number in mind, will be 2030. 7 years from now. Now there's a speech that's planned to be made in December, where he will address the world, and with the green agenda. Wow. He will address the world, and he will probably give people an opportunity. And if he does address the green agenda, and if somehow he is given power, then look out. It's very possible that this could be the beginning of the 7-year tribulation. And I don't know for sure. I'm just a guy in this world that likes to read and likes to hear from God, do the best that I can to give his word out. And I'm not perfect. I don't know everything, and neither does David, but we sure do our best to at least warn people and at least get them on the right track of looking. Hopefully, even if this guy's not the guy, at least you looked, at least you've seen. So with that being said, I just want to say thank you all listening for so much. David, you want to lead us out? Maybe
we're going to do a little Pounders Pound up in here. We got to do this little Pounders Pound on this one. Do a little.
Here it is. It's kind of like not level, but you know what? I'm not going to worry about it because this has been washed more and it has had time to incorporate itself into it. And I would say that this is going to be the same identical way that it has to have time to incorporate itself into it. But other than that, I'm happy with it. And we can use it again or we can put it up whichever way we need to do it. Alright, we'll see you the next time. I hope you enjoyed watching this and I hope that it helps you out.